Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We are going to work on our water catchment.
Yeah, we got these monster tanks, and we, like you guys saw, we dug this big hole, or Colton did, and we want to put a French drain in this backside, and we're gonna run that down and go in front of the barn. Down our driveway has a trench. So we want to tie this French drain into that trench so that any water that comes in here, which won't be a whole lot, just a rainwater, surface water, can get out of here and it won't cause any issues. So we cleaned up a little bit of the edge already from just the water being sitting in here and Ryder jumping in and out of the pond that we had.
Which he's right here too. We jumped in the hole and he's like, I'm coming with you guys.
Yeah. So it's the dry season, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, so we are experiencing very, very warm temperatures, and I kind of think that this is like kind of encompassing the whole United States right now. We have no rain forecasted for the next 10 days, and it's kind of been like that for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it's really a good time for us to get this done so that when we do have a rain event, hopefully we can actually use these tanks to capture the water. It is already 82 degrees. It's going to be 90 today, and it's just going to keep getting hotter throughout the week.
What we want to do is set our tanks on a layer of sand. Something soft. You don't want to set these tanks on anything hard like rocks because...
Yeah, nothing sharp.
Nothing sharp, basically. We want to make sure we have a nice layer, which this is just clay. There's no rocks in our soil, especially right here.
Yeah, none.
And so when we put a layer of sand in here, they'll be nice and soft underneath there and set it up for like our lifetime.
So we actually yesterday picked up some river rocks that we're going to use to go around the French drain, and we picked up a couple yards of sand. We will probably need more sand for sure. I think the rock might be okay for right here.
Yeah, we just picked up what we could get at our local store.
Yeah.
Just to wrap this basically 40 feet area right here in the French drain. We're going to connect solid pipes over there so we don't have to do any fabric wrapped in there, just in here in this trench.
Yeah.
So that rock should be plenty enough to do this one, and then we'll have to do other stuff when we do our foundation. We got our work ahead of us today.
Cut out for us, yeah.
Worked out.
Work out.
So we're going to try to get this trench down just a little bit more, but it really is like concrete now.
I mean, this is... Maybe I can show you.
I mean, you guys are going to see us do this, but like it is like, and then you can see as you get down a little bit, there is a little bit of moisture. In the soil. But like over here where it's been baking for a couple days, I mean, it is basically like concrete.
Right. So you can see why we brought in the big excavator to do this. Ideally, if we could have gotten out here to do this right as the water had left the pond, that would have been best. We would have been able to dig down pretty easily. But
you can see, if we didn't put a French drain in here, this was just, we had a big rain event, the water was up to here.
Yeah.
So we had like almost a foot of water in here. So we really need to have a drain that can pull this water out of this hole. So we're just gonna get to digging.
I think we decided to change our plan.
Change plans.
It's so hard.
Like, we knew this because when we were digging the footing for the barn, and we couldn't dig through this. We went and rented a mini excavator.
Yeah.
But yeah, this, I think maybe a year has made us forget how bad it is.
I still have nightmares of that. What are you talking about?
So I think, what's the plan?
Well, I think we want to get this to be a little level. So I think we're gonna just take some sand and put a nice little fine bed of sand down, just to take away the ups and downs so that the pipe lays nice and flat. And then we'll run our fabric, put our pipe down, put some rocks on it, and it kind of, they call it burrito, but we'll kind of wrap that fabric around that pipe with rocks in between and rocks on top.
We are gonna set up our like camping canopy because this sun is extremely intense. Let's just see. All right, so we set up our canopy.
The encampment's back up.
And this is really kind of saving us. So much better now. Got our waters refilled, and
It was hilarious. We should have recorded the setting up
Oh,
the canopy. We tried to put
yeah.
it in the hole, but it's exactly the same width as the hole is wide.
I was kind of being a
Well, it's hot. I mean,
a
it
baby.
is hot.
I
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do, we're kind of got a new game plan. You know that, like we're making this stuff up as we go. We do as much research as we possibly can, but sometimes it just takes you to jump into the hole and just start doing stuff.
And you can watch all sorts of stuff, videos on how to do it, but like when you're watching it, it's not in this kind of soil, and you know, it's like they just basically are digging. It's like dirt.
Yeah,
So,
every French drain video you watch is basically somebody digging up their nice sod because it's so wet there, and they dig it down like 6-8 inches, the width of a shovel, and they just fill it. Like it's not what we're doing.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to dig a trench 4 feet down.
Driveway.
How far in is it supposed to go?
I don't know. All the way.
I would assume it's there.
Okay, so we got the end in place where we want it to go, and we have the pipes connected, and now we need to cut this off where we want to end our French drain. Here's basically our last tank, and so I'm feeling like, you know, I don't want to waste a lot of this stuff, but if it goes by the tank maybe a couple feet, we're also going to use this same stuff for the house foundation, so anything we cut off we're just going to use over there anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off, and then we'll start gluing everything together.
So now we move the pipe aside, and Levi's gonna glue all the pipes together.
We cut a chunk of the solid. You know, these ones are perforated, they have holes in them. This is just a solid one, and then we're just going to glue this in here, and then that's going to stick up here that we could tie our overflow for our tanks in later. When this French drain is going to drain water out, obviously, but it's also going to be an overflow for our water tanks. So any overflowed water or water that comes in here, groundwater, we want to be able to reclaim that and use it for the garden and stuff. So this trench or this pipe is going to run all the way down to our driveway, and we're going to try to use that water the best we can. So this overflow and the French drain are going to go into another tank that we're going to put in down the property a little ways so that we could use that water later. All right, so this is our primer, and we're using the glue that matches this. You want to make sure that you use the right glue, but anytime you get this on anything, your skin, the outside of this pipe fitting, if this was going to be exposed, it would be purple forever. So just be real careful when you do this. But you basically just want to clean the whole outside of this, any grime, oil, anything that's going to make this not bond to the pipe. All right, so this is the glue we're using, and this is what they recommended for this stuff. And it says very fast set, so that means we need to be exactly where we want to be. So these fittings have a line where they're put together, and that's right in half. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up that seam, which is directly in the middle of that, and then I'm going to try to eyeball the best I can the center of these holes. You kind of want to hold it there for a little bit, let it bond, and then it's all set. And like I said, that stuff goes everywhere. Be careful.
Right. You want me to hold it?
So you kind of want to give this purple stuff. If it was PVC, it would already be dry, but this perforated pipe is not the exact same thing as like a Schedule 40. So we just gotta let it air dry. So maybe I'll go through and prime everything, get it all ready. Now that we got the pipe in place and it's about in the middle of our weave fabric to create our burrito, we're gonna go ahead and get this pipe glued in, and then we'll just have this stubbed up, and then we could access this later when we go to connect everything. So now, as long as that's straight up in the air, we know our holes are perfectly down, straight down. And so now we can go ahead and start bringing in some of our rock.
see.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel it's going so far?
Oh, it's going okay. I mean,
I guess I should have watched the videos along with you.
yeah, they're not very descriptive. Basically, you just want to have rocks around the pipe so that any type of dirt just takes longer for the holes to clog up. And then you want to wrap the fabric on there and then set more rocks on top. So I don't really think there's a right or wrong way to do it, as long as you have the right size rock and it covers the pipe up. I think it's going great. I think as soon as we get the pipe just basically covered up with the rocks, we'll roll the fabric on top and then we'll set more rocks on top of it.
Yeah.
And it'll just lock it in there. And then, we're gonna set like a foot of rocks on top of here after we put our tanks in. I think it's gonna be perfectly fine. As long as we get this burrito wrapped up on there and we put some rocks on top, we're gonna be good. So the bad thing is that the trailer's way over there and we gotta use buckets, but it'd be awesome if we could just use the tractor. Right, we got our burrito kind of wrapped up, but all the way down. And so our next step is to get our tanks in here. We want to have rocks about a foot taller than the French drain, so that'll be a solid foot of those rocks above the drain. But before we can do that, we got to have our tanks placed. So this pit is just big enough to have about a foot on this side of the containers, or the water tanks, and then a foot on this side. So the next step is going to have to be put our tanks in, get them all level, push them up against this French drain, set them in place, and then we can fill this whole area with about a foot of rocks. I think we have enough of those. So we're gonna tag team this. Tiny's gonna grab buckets of sand, bring them to me, and I'm gonna dump them in a pile in the center of each of these areas, and then we'll kind of level them out as we go.
Ready. Oh yeah, I will. Well, I think wanted to get it done. We're about halfway.
Yeah, we're almost halfway.
Yeah.
But of the hard part.
Yeah.
So pretty much we're just gonna complete these circles, and then
Not today though.
not today. Compact them down, kind of like what I was doing here. Use the level, make sure that these pads are all nice and level. Rider will stay out of them.
Oh yeah, look at it. Levi gets it all nice, and then Ryder comes in.
It all needs to be compacted, so it's.
What are you doing? Huh? But so we're gonna call it for the evening.
Cool.
All right.
See you guys.
See you guys. Well, good morning. So we are back out here. Levi's got the laser back out, and he is just checking our levels, making sure that we're gonna be good.
Tanya's favorite sound. All right, we got it reset up.
It's already hot. The bugs are bad. I got stung by a bee yesterday. I'm hoping I don't get stung again today. It's right on my little pinky.
And there's we have our hydrangeas back here, and we found out that it's called a leaf cutter bee, and it's cutting perfectly round holes in our leaves.
Well, it's like
of our
half
hydrangeas.
circles.
It's insane.
Yeah, never seen it before.
Nope.
I had to look it up to find out what was doing it, but they're apparently beneficial. Hopefully they don't destroy our plants.
Hey, as long as they pollinate a tomato or two, that's all that matters.
All right, we're gonna get going. Well, we have 2 complete. 2 more to go.
Halfway.
And it is
Hot, man. Oh.
it's really hot.
It's not even hot yet. It's 82. It's
Still
supposed
have,
to be 92 today.
yeah, 10 more degrees to go. it looks like we have just enough sand and a little bit left in the wheelbarrow and 2 like half 5-gallon buckets. I'm glad it's like we're close to done.
Man, oh man. Physical labor in this hot sun is even worse.
At least there's a little bit of a breeze.
Yeah, there's
It
a nice breeze today.
feels nice. So
I mean, it's almost 90, but our shade's nice to set up over there. Poor Tanya's out in the straight
blazing sun, yeah.
You know, at least I get to duck under there once in a while, but
No, I've been hiding in the shade of the water tanks, so.
yep, just a little final grade. Double check to make sure we're wide enough. We might have to add a little extra around some of the stuff, some of the circles. These are just, to me, just kind of eyeballing, you know, but I think it's good. Now we just got to figure out how to pick these up. My first thought was just to dump them into the hole, like we unloaded them off the trailer, something similar to that, but we might be able to rig up the tractor to see if we can pick them up and get them close to the edge and then set them down. We'll have to see. We'll play around with some stuff. But we're pretty close, so we got to just set our tanks and then we can start backfilling with the bigger rocks, fill up our French drain at least a 1.5 feet or so.
Of rocks.
Of rocks,
Yeah.
of the bigger rocks. And then we'll do the whole base of, you know, river rock at the bottom of the, in between the the water tanks. And then it's all about hooking them up. That'll be fun. All right, guys, we got all 4 of the pads done. They look absolutely perfect, besides Ryder running through, but just look at how cool that turned out. It is just absolutely perfectly level, which is really important for doing a water system like ours, because what we're going to do is all of the water is going to dump into the very first container, and then we're going to pull the water out of the very last container, and that way all the water gets cycled through and there's no stagnant water in any one of these 4 tanks. So that'll be our next step, is to set these. But to do that and backfill this hole, we need to run all of our gutter piping. So all the downspouts for the house are going to run over this water catchment, and then both gutters on the barn are going to run into here. So for us to do that, we need to get a whole bunch of 4-inch PVC, Schedule 40. That's the safest for drinking. So we're going to go ahead and go pick up all that stuff. We also need to dig trenches so that we can run all of our gutters underground. So we need to dig a trench from the house to this water catchment area. We need to dig a trench from the back gutter and the front gutter here on this barn, and have that all connected into this holding tank. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. So this turned out really nice. I can't wait to set the containers. We're running through some ideas right now, so that'll do it for this one. We'll see you guys on the next one.